Hello, everyone. It's Kavita from Red Door Yoga. Thank you for joining me for the Red Door Yoga Mini Sutra series online. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the Way of Zen. So most of you have probably heard of Zen, and you might even be able to look at a space or an image and go, that's very Zen. But a lot of people who use that phrase don't actually know what Zen means. And we could go into really, interesting discussions about Zen because it's a deep and interesting philosophy that it comes from the same place as yoga. But what I really want to talk about related to Zen is the concept that it carries of a place for everything and everything in its place. Okay? Because, most of the time when you look at a space and you go, that's very Zen, one of the things you'll notice is that everything is kind of put away nicely. It's not cluttered, and there is a definite sense that there's order to that space. And as a result, you notice that your mind is able to rest. The mind is not worked up in any way. It rests. There's a peacefulness to the mind when it's in that space. And that's why we say that's very Zen. Okay? And so the Zen idea of a place for everything and everything in its place is how we get into that type of a space, is how we create that type of a space. When you look at the things that you have, you want to make sure that everything that you have has a place to go. And that place is a consistent place. So think about, for example, most of us have a vehicle of some sort. So let's say we have a car, therefore we have car keys. Do you have a consistent place for your car keys? If you have a specific place that your car keys goes, and you always put your car keys in that place, what you will notice is that your mind will rest around your car keys, meaning that you're not afraid that you're going to get up tomorrow morning and you're going to be heading out the door to go to work and you'll be running around going, where are my car keys? You're not afraid of that at all because you know exactly where your car keys are supposed to be. You have a place for your car keys, and that you always put your car keys in its place. So if you always put your car keys in the place that's been set aside for it, your mind rests knowing that it'll be there when you're ready to leave the house and head into work. So I'm using the car keys as an example. But I want you to start to, pick a room even. Pick a room and just go into that room and notice how your mind feels when you enter into that room. If you notice that your mind doesn't have that response where it's completely at peace and you feel like there's order to that space, then I want you to look around that space and notice the objects that are in that space. Are there objects in that space that do not have a specified place to be? Are there objects in that space that have a specified place to be, but they're not in that space? Okay? Make sure that every object in that room has a place to be and is put into that place. Now, that's great when you first set it up. Now, if you pick that object up, any object, and you use it, do you put it back in its specified place? That needs to happen. A place for everything and everything in its place. Okay? I would love you to practice that this week. Practice that way of Zen. Okay? And like I said, I gave you the example of going into one room and doing this with it. Okay? If a room is too much, start with a drawer. Okay? Start with a drawer. It might be a drawer, a cutlery drawer. When you look into that cutlery drawer, there's everything in that cutlery drawer have a specific place to be. And is it in that specific place? Maybe you open your cutlery drawer and you realize that there are things that, have no rhyme or reason, inside of that drawer. And you go, I've just kind of thrown these things in because I didn't know what to do with them. I need to look at these various objects that I've thrown into this cutlery drawer, and I need to make sure that every single one of these things have a specific place for them. And then make sure they're put into that specific place. You might start to go through the cutlery drawer and realize some of these things don't belong in this drawer. This is not the space for these things. Okay? Find a specific place for them and then put them in that place. If you have objects that you look at them and you go, I don't think I have a place for these things, then, and you can't think of one, like I can't think of a single place to put these objects, you may want to consider getting rid of those objects. They may have no place in your life. Okay? Just some food for thought, and I'd love you to experiment with it this week. I would also love you to comment in the comment section and let me know how that experimentation goes. You might be amazed at the difference it makes to your mind, because you might be amazed at the difference it makes to your space, your environment, okay? And your environment does affect your mind. I hope this was helpful, everyone. You know what? I'd even love to see your before and after photos with your Zen homework, okay? I look forward to seeing those photos. I look forward to seeing your comments. Please do share this with others. And in fact, I would love you to share this video with others and then challenge them. And I don't mean in an aggressive way, but challenge them. Ask them to join you in that Zen challenge, okay? In that Zen way of facing down your space this week, next week, whatever it is that you want to do. But ask your friends to join you, and it'll be really interesting to see how the community finds their way to Zen together. Thank you, everyone. I look forward to seeing you online again very, very soon. Namaste.